Hey everybody, John here. I wanted to touch on full self-driving beta version 12. It is released as of Monday. It got sent out to about 2% of the overall Tesla users. It seems that a lot of those users are out in California. I am seeing a lot of videos surfacing. Overall, much smoother movements. It seems to be a lot more human-like, a lot more fluid. AI Driver has been testing it out with Whole Mars blog, and there's a lot of videos online about that. You can check out a lot of feed on X, as well as articles that are being written. Fred Lambert just released an article talking about how full self-driving beta version 12 can now find parking spaces. Now, it's been known since Elon Musk posted his live stream of version 12 back in 2023 that it can pull over to the side of the street, but it seems that it actually has the ability to find parking spaces. And it looks like we're getting a lot closer to seeing what Elon has referred to as actually smart summon. I've been joking saying this is ASS, which I say on X multiple times. I've been trying to get some feedback as to when that's actually coming out, because it's been rumored that it's coming soon. And I think he said maybe next month or a month after that. It was kind of like floated out there many times that it's coming very, very soon. And this goes way back, by the way. This is nothing new, but I constantly am joking around the holidays. I was also joking saying, when am I going to get some ass? And I think Elon Musk is always joking as well about that topic, but he is not taking the bait. I don't get any replies from him, so that leads me to believe that, number one, he either has no idea when it's going to be released, or number two, he is still keeping it under wraps. And probably that's not the case, because he used to believe that it was coming out soon, and I think that was really his desire. And I have observed that he tries to push his team to the limit publicly by making statements, and then if I was on the development team and I saw the owner of the company posting about release dates, I would be panicked trying to meet those release dates. But I'm not sure if those are actually panned out internally or not before he actually makes those announcements. So everything that Elon says now, I take with a grain of salt. Of course, it's hard to do that because I really want to believe, and I'm a big fan. Elon has achieved so much over his career, so it's hard to doubt him in a lot of cases. However, you do have to be a little bit cautious whenever he posts something. Enough about Elon, let's get back to version 12. I have been sending emails to the beta team for a very long time trying to get this version, although it appears now that it is going out randomly to different people. Some of the biggest testers that are well known in the community, Chuck Cook, Dirty Tesla, Bearded Tesla, gosh, I'm missing dozens of them. Some newer testers, Cold Envy, Strength Plan. There's a lot of YouTubers and ex-Twitter folks that are constantly posting about full self-driving. They also don't have it, at least not to my knowledge. I don't know how many people outside of California have it, but Tesla Scope just notified everybody that it is going out to a random user base, so it is ending up in the hands of other people outside of California. But I would venture to guess that about 90% of the people that are using it and have received it are in California still. So I have been I have been checking my car every single day, obsessively, almost every hour. I can't wait to get it. I will be live streaming the second I get it. But let's just talk about what we're seeing here today. First things first, it seems very, very smooth, very fluid, a lot more human-like, as I mentioned. The second thing is it seems to handle speed bumps really, really well. I'm seeing a lot of feedback from AI Driver in particular about that. The third major thing that I'm seeing is that it can do U-turns. It seems that it's fully capable of doing that. Now, I don't know if that's repeatable, if it happens every single time, but it does appear that it is executing those a lot better than it was before. The one area that I'm really curious is roundabouts. Can it behave better? So with roundabouts, with version 11, what happens is it will enter the roundabout, it will slow down. Before it enters, it slows down, it takes caution. That's a good thing. Sometimes it takes a little bit too much caution. A lot of times it impresses me though, and it does the right thing, and I have to give it more credit than anything else because it is certainly impressive for what it can do. However, when it enters a roundabout, oftentimes it will turn on its left turn signal and then turn on the right turn signal and then turn on the left turn signal and then turn on the right turn signal. It gets confused, but if you're not looking at the turn signal behavior, you wouldn't know that it's confusing other people around you. So it's really that kind of balance of awkwardness with people around you. And that has continued to be my main issue throughout versions 10 when I first got full self-driving in October 2021 to today in 2024. Version 11 as well, just being very awkward and inappropriate in a lot of situations around other drivers. I can't wait to test version 12. All these little behaviors seem to be much improved, and especially kind of the steadiness around other people and pedestrians in particular. It appears, based on everything that I've seen, that it handles those situations a lot better. It doesn't slam on the brakes, and it doesn't take caution in a lot of situations. It says, okay, they're coming at my car, but even though that's happening, I'm going to keep going. And previously, and this happens all the time with version 11, most of the time to the effect that it's actually impressive. You know, for me, it's like, oh wow, hey, it's reacting and doing the safest thing possible. But oftentimes it's overreacting a little bit, and it will, especially if you're entering an intersection and someone darts out in front of you. And you know, as a human, if you're crossing the road, you know that you're going to be a little bit slower to approach a vehicle, and it's that sliver of time where your car has the right of way. It's not the car's right of way, but it's the appropriate thing to do, especially in a very busy urban environment. In my area, there are a couple stop signs that are double-sided. So when it goes through an intersection, it will actually stop as it goes through to the other side. And it's pretty annoying because if somebody's behind you, you are going to get honked at. And that is definitely something that I did not know was the reason why it was happening the first few times I started going through those intersections. What you're going to see here, unless this has been fixed, this has been an issue for a very long time, is it will start to go through this intersection. It's our turn. And then halfway through, it's going to stop again. Let's see. Yeah, see, look at this. It's slowing down to stop here. It thinks there's another stop sign here. So I am stepping on the accelerator. So version 12, there's an article here that I found on carscoops.com. It was Stephen Rivers who wrote this, and I thought it was a great article. I just wanted to highlight some of the topics that he brought up here. He says that the shift from version 11 to version 12 is all about how full self-driving does its job. Before version 11, the system was based on lines of human written code. And what he meant by that, it was before version 12. So in version 11 and version 10, it was human written code. And Elon Musk has referred to that as heuristics. It's C++ code that has been added in to account for certain scenarios. Version 12 basically scraps all of that code and instead uses an advanced AI learning to emulate good drivers to the best of its ability. So that's another question I have in my mind is how does it know what is a good driver versus a bad driver? That really requires some interpretation. And I think most people that are driving around are going to want to protect their car. You know, obviously they paid a lot of money to own that car, so they're going to avoid an accident in every situation. So I don't think we need to be worried about the car necessarily creating accidents as much as it maybe annoying other people around you. Here he goes on to say that at least 2 different Tesla YouTubers have collaborated to show off version 12, technically 12.1.2, to the general public. And what he's referring to there is Whole Mars Blog and AI Driver channel. He used to work at Tesla. He no longer works at Tesla, but they both live in California. And it's proven by now that full self-driving operates really well over in California compared to other states around the country. For example, Dirty Tesla, he has issues with full self-driving getting into these merge lanes on a continual basis, and he continues to report it. I have issues at double-sided stop signs. I have issues at roundabouts. I think everybody has issues at roundabouts. And for the most part, unprotected lefts, thanks to Chuck Cook, perform really well. I tested out in this very difficult area, and it succeeds probably 75-80% of the time. On a normal road that's kind of simpler, not too much traffic, I'd say it's probably 95%. It impresses more than it disappoints. Let me just put it that way. But he goes on to say that being that they both own these cars, it's worth pointing out that neither can be truly unbiased about the results. And I have an opportunity with my job to go down into the city, so the minute I get that software, I'll be jetting down there to test this. So make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed so you can see how it operates in a busy city like Chicago. So he goes on to say, nevertheless, the videos give us a good indication of what FSD version 12 does well and what it struggles with. In fact, the two of them compared version 12 in one car to version 11 in another car on the same route and at the same time to find the differences. Based on feedback from the channel's AI driver in Whole Mars blog, the big change seems to be with how smoothly the system works. Version 12 feels like the robot that used to drive the car has been replaced by a competent human, says one of the testers, that's Omar. He's always overly optimistic. Now, I believe it based on the videos that I've seen, though, that it does operate a little bit more human-like. In other words, it doesn't hesitate as much, and when it takes off, it takes off with confidence, and it's very smooth. So the acceleration out of intersections, for example, sounds like it's a big improvement. It goes on to say it no longer feels like it's calculating what to do all the time, and instead, it just does it. All indications are that FSD 12 behaves very naturally and confidently in most scenarios. It still has some problems though. Stop signs are a major issue as the system takes some time to get to 0 miles per hour and won't roll through stops like the vast majority of humans do. And if you've been watching a lot of videos about full self-driving, that's very evident. It's a known issue. In fact, Elon Musk mentioned it in his live streaming event when he was showing off version 12 for the first time last year in 2023. So that has to be, basically an exception because most humans, when they're driving, they roll through the stops. But obviously, you can't have that be approved. The National Highway Safety Transportation Authority, or administration rather, they have banned that from Tesla, which is mind-blowing because even though it is a law, it really limits what the car can do in a normal situation. I mean, it's not limiting it, it's just basically annoying other drivers because nobody stops completely to a standstill. It says, while that may sound great to regulators, it's unnatural compared to most drivers, and being unpredictable can itself be unsafe. And that's true. In addition, FSD 12 has some trouble with traffic control devices like parking bollards, I've never heard that word before, and at least one crosswalk sign in the video. As AI Driver points out, the system is doing all that it does with only a year of in-house training at Tesla. It's feasible to think that as more drivers download and use the system, it will continue to improve. So I think that's very, very true. I think with time, as a lot of testers start using it, it's going to improve because it's going to have a lot of that feedback. But again, in my mind, I really wonder, how does Tesla know what good feedback is versus bad feedback? And how do you reinforce that feedback and have it apply to multiple environments? And as I've mentioned in other videos, I think a lot of the video feedback is going to have to be identified with a geolocation, because in certain areas of the country, the roads are a little bit different. The lines on the roads are different. The signs are different. There's a lot of different variations depending on where you're driving. So while this may work really, really well in California and you get a lot of positive reviews coming out of those areas, in other areas of the country, you're going to have those issues present themselves. So if you want to see how it operates in Chicago, I will be live streaming the minute I get full self-driving beta version 12. It was rumored that it's not going to be beta, that it will just be FSD 12, but that is obviously not going to be true. And I'm not sure where that rumor originated from. I do have my own guesses as far as where that came from, but I'll keep those to myself for now. It's not going to be coming out of beta anytime soon. There's a lot of testing and evaluating before it can even be considered safe to use without any feedback from the driver. And that's another thing that I think is frustrating for a lot of testers, is you have to continually push on the steering wheel. People can argue, and this has been argued a lot, is it safe to be touching the steering wheel? Well, it ensures that the driver is alert, but it's a redundancy check because you have the in-cabin camera that's already tracking the position of your eyes. So that system is, redundant. And then what happens is if you're addressing the nag on the steering wheel, sometimes you actually disengage it, and it can create a much more unsafe situation. So a lot of the testers want that to go away, but I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon because it is a safety check, at least for now. Hopefully in the future that will go away. I'm optimistic that this is the right step forward for Tesla. It's just going to take a lot of time, and I'm really eager to get my hands on it. If you support me, let me know in the comments. I'd be happy to repost that on X and hopefully get Elon Musk's attention or somebody's attention at Tesla, because like I said, I've been begging for so long now to get it, and I really hope that I'm one of the first ones after these initial folks have been testing and using it. Thanks again so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.